Is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another edition of On the Road to Victory. I am your host, Jimmy Smith. Thank you for taking the time on this pretty ugly Tuesday night. I'll be real with you. I don't know if it's supposed to rain, snow, sunny tomorrow. I'm not sure what it is. I feel like we are in Narnia anymore. So wild times here. Been tough times. The woman not feeling well. Me getting my CAT scan tomorrow. So it's been insane, but still had time to put this damn show together because it's time to talk some birds. So I really appreciate you guys taking the time, tuning in, whether you're watching live or you're tuning in later. I really appreciate you. I really appreciate you hitting that like button, subscribing to the YouTube channel, all those things you guys are doing to support me. I truly appreciate it. But without further ado, let's get this thing going. We are talking tight ends tonight. You know, we're going through each position of the NFL draft, looking at all available here. Day one guys, day two, and the day three guys. And we're looking at which players the Eagles could be interested in. Some of the guys that just stuck out to me. And I would love to hear what you guys think. Who you guys like out there, which day, which round you're looking for the Eagles to address the tight end position. We got rid of Zach Ertz last year. You know that we had some guys that are prospects. You know, we don't know what they'll become. Jason Kroom, Tyree Jackson. Well, Jackson's banged up. We're not even sure if he's going to play this year. Kroom, he unfortunately is an unrestricted free agent, so we don't know if he will be coming back. But we know Dallas Goedert is tight end one. We brought in Jack Stoll. He can play that H-back role. We love that. Richard Rogers, Old Man River there, and then Noah Togiai was brought back. So there's some young talent with some promise, but I really would love to see the Eagles address this position in the draft, and I'm going to tell you where and which players I really like. So let's get this thing going, and let's remember, first and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, where the Eagles are picking 10 picks here. So you got 2 first-rounders, hell yeah, a second, 2/3, a 4th, 3/5, and a 7th. I'm all about it. Let's go. My man, Drew, and I love your dedication as well, my man. I appreciate you taking the time tonight. My head is still ringing. I hope this CAT scan figure something out because I felt like I said last night, you know, I thought I was going to come out like Captain America. They had me all geared up. Dude, it was nuts. I'm trying to figure it out. It's killing me. But my poor woman, she's got like an abscess, like something's going on her effing face. Just can't take it right now, just losing it. But I appreciate you, man, and I appreciate you taking the time. But I don't want to bore you with my stuff. I hope you all are doing well, though, Drew, and everybody else tuning in. Hope you guys are having a great night. Hope all's going well this week. Let's get it done, though. Let's talk about, as we have each and every show now, we're talking about these guys from which day we think they're going to go. Now, for me, I'll be honest with you, I do not see any of these tight ends going in the first round. Not to say that they don't have the potential. I think some of them are pretty good, and I like what they could be. I don't have them in the top 32. So I'm not putting them on that list. We're not going to do that. So we're just going to talk about the top guys, and we're going to talk about them as some of these guys as day 2 potential. Some of them, maybe a reach for some people. But look, I'm no expert here, but I'd love to hear your opinion. Who do you like out here? Who do you think is maybe a day 2 pick I left off, or there's a day 3 guy you're about to see, whatever it is? Here are some guys. Now you see pictured there, Trey McBride. That seems to be a lot of people's favorites. But for me, there's a lot of options here, and it depends on what you're looking for. So we know that the Eagles, we have Dallas Goedert, right? So this dude, he's kind of a jack of all trades. We're hoping that he really gets better at that blocking. You know, there's definitely things he can work on, but love Dallas Goedert. Love him. But I think we could use a guy that more of a blocking tight end, but we have Dallas Goedert, so you don't have to. Like, you could definitely go after one of these receiving tight ends. So I'm not trying to just say that it only has to be that, because I like Jack Stoll's potential, not as an inline blocker. Let's keep that right. He's more of that H-back, that F tight end that you're moving around as a receiver more than the tight end that you trust blocking someone, and you're putting in the backfield, maybe taking on a safety or linebacker more than those, putting them on the edge there. You don't want to do that, right? So we're looking at some of these guys that can maybe fill both of those roles. So keep that in mind. But let me know how you guys feel about it. Oh, hey, man, I truly appreciate it, dude. It's been tough times. I just feel like I can never catch a break. But this is my zen. This is my piece. Is where I come to talk birds with you all, ladies and gentlemen. I truly appreciate you guys when you do take the time, whether you comment or not, you're just tuning in, whatever it is. I truly appreciate you. I do. So let's get this going. And you want to let me know how you're feeling about some of these guys, please feel free. But you saw the list of guys there, and let's bring it back up one more time. I'll be real with you. There are some guys maybe people don't like a Jake Ferguson on there. Look, he played at Ohio State where there's a lot of pass catchers, a lot of talent there where I don't need to explain that to you. So I think that someone, playing there and having that, Jeremy Ruckert to me is somebody that could be a sleeper in the second, third round, whatever, that I think you really, and to be real with you, I think third round for most of these guys. Second rounders, I think there's a couple options, and I want to touch on that with you. So the one guy that I really, really do like, Trey McBride, and I think a lot of people like him too. And, 6'4", 260. And he's dude, this is a dude that really is that jack of all trades. And I think that he would be that perfect fit, what we were talking about last year, adding someone like him to this team. I mean, because he can pass protect, he really can block, he can do all those things. And I think, at his size, he really is a bigger dude. He would be what Dallas Goedert isn't, to be real with you. But he's a dude that I think would fit perfectly. He seems like a Philly guy to me. I'll be real with you, but he needs some work. I'll be honest. But if he falls, if the tight ends aren't, nobody's going on a run there, if we're not the first team to go on a run there, with pick 51, I think I'd be more than okay with pick 51. And I know some people are like, we need defense. And look, if there's someone on the defense that's better than him, yeah, I'm taking them instead. But I'm just saying, as we look at these positions, who I would be okay with if the Eagles pull the trigger. So someone like Trey McBride, I really think he would add something to this offense. You could use him all over. You don't just have to put him on the line as a tight end. We've talked about this over and over again. So I think he's that perfect kind of player that you definitely would love to see the Eagles see. Now, if you don't, say somebody takes him and you realize, okay, there's going to be a little bit of a run here, maybe a guy like Greg Dolcich, who, man, this kid is fun to watch. I mean, he's a home run hitter. He could work on that blocking. So not exactly somebody I'm taking in the second round. And look, maybe somebody does take look, I'm not against it because there's not many tight ends that I think are first round potential or second round potential. I'm sorry, because there is no first round for me. But I just think that these guys are more third round. We'll see what happens. But I think Dolcich, man, why not? If you want to take a stab at a guy like him, he's not the best blocker in the world, but this dude comes out and gets the job done when we're talking about deep pass. Look at that, 17.6 yards per reception. Dude's no joke, man. And that's fine if he wants to get better as a, blocker, but this dude's fun to watch. I think, you go back, watch his highlights, you'll have a good time. I think he could definitely work on some things though. So that's fine. But if the Eagles take a stab at him in the third round, one of those third round picks, I'm okay with it. Now, we got a couple comments here, so let me take a gander at those before we get to the next player here. I think we'll get a tight end. It would be with one of our fifth round draft picks. Everyone forgetting about, we have a young stud named Tyree Jackson. Don't forget about Richard Rodgers. Well, unfortunately, Anthony, Tyree Jackson, a lot of people do not forget about him. I love Tyree Jackson. But as I mentioned earlier in this video, dealing with an injury, and he might not play this year. So unfortunate. And as I also mentioned in the same breath, Jason Kroom, unrestricted free agent, guy converted from wide receiver to tight end, whereas Jackson was quarterback to tight end. So yes, I'd love to see him, but he's injured. So unfortunately, we need to address it. I love Stoll, love Richard Rodgers, but a little bit older. And I know they want to get younger because they got rid of him last year. Same goes for Noga Togiai. But hey, I would love to see him compete and get better too. I just think that there are definitely options, and there's options throughout. And we'll keep talking about those here in a second. We will not get a tight end day one. I don't think anyone's going to get one on day two. So we'll see that, man. Tyree's still raw and has been a lot, but definitely. Yeah, I think you guys are misunderstanding what this show is, though. I'm going through each day where these guys would be selected and talking about where the Eagles should draft and if they should or shouldn't. So, yeah, I'm not saying that's where we're drafting. We're not drafting all these tight ends with all of our picks. That is not what's happening here, ladies and gentlemen. Tyree is still very raw, but, yeah, he has great potential, and I'm very excited about it. Just unfortunately, he's banged up right now. So, going to need him to get healthy at some point, and then we'll find out if we have him. But, yeah, man, there's definitely some options in day three, and you'll see here, man, this list is huge. I love this tight end room. So, Anthony, Drew, just stay patient here. We're going to talk about some of these guys that look, are guys that I would be perfectly fine with the Eagles taking in day 2, and more so with one of those third-round picks. So we're talking about that 101 pick where I'm perfectly fine if you've gotten some defensive studs, you want to add somebody, okay. But as you guys have heard me say multiple times, I think you find a tight end in day 3 because this tight end class is loaded with talent. So I agree with you guys 100%, but stay patient with me and we'll keep things rolling. And look, there's a lot of talent here. But yeah, Jason Kroon, man, we'll see if we re-sign him if he gets a chance. But we definitely, here, I'll show you guys. It sounds like you might have missed the beginning of the show here. So let me show you real quick in case anybody else did too. Here are our tight ends. You've got Goddard, you got Stoll, Togiai, Richard Rogers, and then aforementioned Tyree Jackson being banged up. But Jason Kroon, unrestricted free agent. We'll see what we do there. But I'm not against adding someone if they do it in round 3. But again, you got 3 fifth-round picks. You got a 7th. You got 1 4th. There's a lot of talent to be had in this draft. So we'll see who the best player available is. But that's why we're going through each position and talking about where, if the Eagles take someone there, how we are going to feel about it, dude. Just doing things a little bit differently this year with the 10 picks that we have. So we're talking about mostly, in my mind, we got that pick 83 and pick 101. That's where my mind is. If one of these guys that we're talking about here in Dolcich, or one of the guys coming up, I think the Eagles, if they do that, I'm not mad about it. It just wouldn't be my move. But let's keep things rolling, ladies and gentlemen. So Jelani Woods, you remember this kid from Oklahoma State, transferred last year to Virginia, but this kid's pretty damn talented and 6'7", 265 pounds. Holy shit. He's a big dude. And he's a very big guy that bullies people. And I think that's something I love to see. You guys know that's what I've been looking for and what we're talking about. But as big as he is, he's not exactly great at blocking. I think he could use some work at his run blocking, especially. And look, these kids are young, so there is room to grow. And I think he's one of those people that is a prospect that, holy shit, you add him to this roster, 6'7". I'm going to say, oh, why do we take a tight end? But I'm going to be like, holy shit, you got Jelani Woods. Okay, I'm not against it. 12.9 yards per catch, 30.8. And once again, you talk about where these kids play at school. It's like, well, you also have to remember who's throwing them the ball, what's happening in the situation. I mean, there's so many things that go into this process. So I'm not numbering these people, trying to give you who the best, whatever. I'm talking about what the Eagles could use, how they'd fit. If it would fit, I'd be perfectly fine with this kid. Now, you want to talk about playmakers, though. Oh, my. This kid, 6'4", 240. And he was a wide receiver, converted into a tight end. But he has got, this kid's fun to watch. But he's got a lot of work to do if he wants to be a tight end. And look, I'm all for, enjoying the prospects, but the only way, and how I feel is these guys could really fall. So if you get this kid and, you add him to this roster, let's say he does fall, to day 3. If he's in the 4th round, dude, he's a fun kid to watch. But honestly, like I said, he really needs to add some things. And I really think he's going to be slept on. I think this kid's going to be a stud in the NFL. I'm not going to lie to you, but I don't want to sit here and just say that, he's going to be a superstar or anything like that. I just think he could be a pretty damn good tight end. He just has to work on those things, and you never know what they're going to do. But he's a little smaller, 6'4", 240. You'd like to see, that's not a small guy, but compared to some of these tight ends, you want to see him add a little on. Maybe, Zach Ertz comparison here to, he could use some things, but he would definitely add something to this offense. You could use him as that F tight end we've talked about moving around, on this line. And look, not on the line, sorry, as a receiver. So I really think that off the line. So I think that you really need to consider that the Eagles are going to use that 12-13 personnel a lot. And we talk about that all the time. The Eagles love them some 12-13 personnel. And, I do too. I want them to, but you need to have the right personnel. So Jack Stoll, love the kid. Hopefully he progresses, but Noah Togiai, how's he going to come along? So that's what we have to keep in mind here. Now, we're going to touch on a couple more that are on the edge here of maybe day 2, but probably 4th round, 5th round. But some guys I like. And I don't like Ohio State, but I do like Jeremy Rucker. And once again, I mentioned him a little bit earlier. Obviously, when you've got so many playmakers around you, that's another thing you have to keep in mind. This guy doesn't have the greatest of stats. You're like, 493 yards. That sucks in his career. But it doesn't, because he actually is an all-around really good tight end. And he's somebody I think being slept on just due to the fact that people stat watch. So that's fine. But I really think that when you watch him, he really is just a prototypical kind of tight end. Somebody where you're just like, oh, he's going to come in here. He's going to do everything you need him to do, whether it's blocking, going out, catching that short yardage catch, catching the long ball. I think he could do it all. So I think that he would definitely be somebody in the 4th round. I would be perfectly fine if the Eagles went ahead and drafted. So yes, count me in. Now, another guy on a little on the edge there for me. Not sure if he goes in the 3rd round, but I think he'd be a 4th round pick. But Bellinger, to me, I think he's real up and down. I've seen some reports on him. Some people higher, some people definitely lower on him, but I think the kid's kind of exciting. Once again, one of those Y tight ends that we're talking about. A tough dude that you put on the line that can actually block. That is somebody I think the Eagles could definitely use. 6'6", 255. You allow Goddard to be that receiver. This is your dude that comes in, punches people right in the mouth, but he's actually a pretty good receiver as well. So monster, and if you notice the trend here, kind of just the guys that I've been talking about, but look, he's actually a good receiver. He's got decent route running. I think he would be exciting to add to the Philadelphia Eagles roster. So count me in. And why not? Now, we're not going to just stop there. Day 3, we also have some potential. But here's the thing. I had to make a couple list of the day 3 guys because there are so many. And there are honestly guys I think I left off, like Mitchell from Virginia. I mean, they're Virginia Tech. There's guys that dealt with injury. There's just things that, dude, I try to fit all in. But this is where it comes back to how I feel about the Eagles addressing this position. Look, as much as I like those guys we talked about, I'm just talking about the fact that where I feel those guys are going to be and I would be okay with. For me, there is a lot of guys here that pick your poison, could get the job done with all of those things I just said. And I could name you 50 of them. So just try to make a list here for you guys to take a gander at, some guys you can look up. But as I always say, if there are some names you think I should be checking out, definitely let me know. But I think this goes from anywhere from round 4, mostly on the left side, some guys that maybe in round 4, but probably 5th round. Then you're going 6th, 7th after that, and you're talking about undrafted here as we look at the next list. But there are some guys that I really think, you could find, and you don't even have to draft one, to be honest with you. You could go for another undrafted kid like Jack Stoll, but I think there's some potentially really good players here that you could go for. So we'll see what the Eagles do, but let's talk about a couple of them. Just a couple at the end here, but talking about Chig Okonkwo, and I'll be real with you, this kid is fun as hell to watch. And this is somebody that they actually used all over the place, man. Jet sweeps as a running back, lined him up as a fullback, dude. Y tight end, F tight end, use them all over the place. Really, really fun to watch. I think you could sign me up all day with it. This dude's a little bruiser. I love it, man. I know he's only 6'2", 245. That's perfectly fine with me. This dude is a beast, and he's explosive, man. And I love to see when he gets that ball in his hands, what he does with it. So really excited to see that. But he would definitely have to work on his in-line blocking. That's why he's a day 3 kind of guy for me. I don't think, he's all the way around here put together, but I think he definitely has a lot of growth, and he's got the perfect skill set to work on. And I think he would be a great addition for the Philadelphia Eagles. So for me, that's somebody I think I would take over any of those other guys just because of how I look at this draft. Now, we haven't got to the defense yet or the receivers. So there's a lot of players that I'm probably taking over most of those tight ends or that we talked about in the beginning. So at the end here, when you're looking at somebody like Chig Okonkwo, yes, sign me up. I'm all for it. Woods from Virginia. I'll actually draft him around the 3rd round because, Dallas Cowboys love big tight ends. I don't like surprise if they get him. Hey, man. And look, there's literally so many different things when I was looking up the tight ends, where it was like, for the love of God, whether they're third round, fourth round, fifth round, sixth round, seventh, everybody's got a different opinion. That's fine. I try to watch as much as I could on these guys. And for me, it's more of everybody's going to fall. I think there's no one going in the first round, and it's just going to wait till there's a run on these guys. And when there is, I think it's just going to be those top guys we talked about. And then at the end, it's going to be, who do you like? And there is so much talent in this draft, dude. When you're looking at these guys, it's just like, who do you want to pick? Pick your poison here, man. There's 2 lists here, and I could have made literally 2 more of these lists. I'm not even kidding you, dude. There were so many freaking tight ends that I really was like, oh, well, should I add him in? Should I add this guy in? And then it was just like, well, I guess not. But yeah, man, I'll be real with you. When we talked about Jelani Woods, I think for me, the 3rd round pick for him is he's 6'7", right? Wasn't that what it was? Like 6'7", 265. That's massive. But if you go watch his tape, man, he's like really, really fun to watch. He's explosive. Now, like I said, you got to work on some things with him, but man, I would not be against it. Again, I want safeties, corners, edge rushers, linebackers, interior defensive linemen. I want offensive linemen. I want wide receivers, but I also want a tight end. Be interested in some of these running backs we're going to talk about tomorrow. So, yeah, I'm very intrigued. So this was just a fun way to do things differently than what everybody else is now doing. I was doing it a certain way last couple of years, but I want to do it this way. Just talk about each round, some of these fits and some of these guys I like, and then it just gives me an opportunity to hear your guys' opinion and who you like and how you feel about the Eagles roster. So a focus on the birds, but yeah, man, I'm really excited about this draft. And there with these 10 picks, man, so much can go down. So, hey, if it's one of these tight ends, I'm all about it. Now, I have one more guy for you, and then we're going to get rolling out here. But this young man isn't a tight end, but apparently he's coming into the draft as a tight end. But Armani Rogers. Now, this kid is pretty fun to watch. Watch a little bit of tape on him at Ohio, and he was a quarterback. Now, we were just talking about Tyree Jackson, right? So I wanted to leave this nice little surprise for you at the end. We got ourselves another project here, 6'5", 225, but go watch the tape on this young man. If you can't find tape, go watch some highlights because those are fun. He is a fun player to watch. This dude is a quarterback, though, so it's hard to gauge what he's going to be as a tight end, but from his pro day, what the work he did on that day, it looked like he might have an easy transition. We talked about how well it worked for Tyree Jackson. So you talk about when you talk to guys, if you guys remember, I got to talk to Greg Ward and asked him what that's like, and they say most guys, now I don't get to talk to the other guys, but guys like Greg Ward that were quarterbacks, it's easier for them. They know what the quarterback's looking for. So maybe a guy like Armani Rogers, undrafted free agent, if he doesn't go drafted, maybe you take him in the 7th, but don't think you need to. Maybe you bring him in as one of those undrafted guys. So options all over the place, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in. Appreciate all of the comments from Anthony, from Drew. If you are watching this later, I will appreciate any comment you leave, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. But I'll be honest with you, my head is throbbing right now. So I'm going to get rolling out. If you guys need me, please feel free to reach out. I got my CAT scan nice and early in the AM. Hopefully I'm still ready to rock because we got some running backs to talk about tomorrow. So I'll see you guys then. If you need anything, reach out to me. But stay safe out there. Appreciate all of you. Thank you for hitting that like button, subscribing to the channel. You guys have a great night. And as always, go Birds!